There we go. All right. Welcome to the Citadel for Metal Fellowship. Today we're going to be speaking with the Minsk Belarus band, symphonic metal band, Belle Morte. And oh my God, what an album. Anastasia Shabrova, the band's lead singer, and Sergei Batovsky are here. He plays lead guitar. And together,
Base.
oh, I'm sorry, bass guitar. I'm sorry. Welcome to you both. They're here to talk about their new album, Pearl Hunting, and Pearl Hunting was released on January 23rd on Wormhole Death Records. It's probably one of the best metal names for a record distributor. And this band is perfect. They're going to be sending me a signed copy of their CD, which is thank you again for that. But they also have a lot of diversity on this album, and we're going to be talking about that. But let them say hi if you'd like.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us here today.
Greetings to everyone.
Excellent. All right. So let's start at the beginning because a lot of us don't know a lot about you. Um, Tell us how the band got together, how you all met, and Anastasia already mentioned that they're in different parts of the world, and Sergey backed her up on that. So talk about that, and then how you keep that group together like that, because it's got to be difficult.
Yes, it is. Well, we started together with Sergey as we're here today. We at first were just us.
Mhm.
So I had a number of songs which I wrote from my teenage years, and I wanted to add some arrangements to that to record it and see if it can work out, if it can sound good actually. And Sergey at the moment was playing in a different band. He was also doing a lot of arrangements and sound production. So we just started working together, and I thought that it is something interesting. We can go further with this. So we recorded the first EP, and by the end of this period, I already had material for the whole next album. So we went on with that. And in the process, we decided to find other band members to grow from the studio project to something bigger. So we found other guys and girls. There are total 6 people in Belle Morte right now. And then COVID started.
Oh my
So
goodness, yeah.
yes, yes,
And
we
another great
were
stuff.
we were kind of locked out, and we had a lot of new experiences because of that, because the world was learning to work remotely. And it kind of inspired us for this idea of the second album, where we could remotely work with people from all corners of the world. So when we, after the events in Belarus in 2020, left and some guys stayed there, we were split into 3 countries. We proceeded working remotely, and we got adjusted to this. Of course, it has its own challenges, but to tell the truth, if we didn't have this COVID experience, I don't know if we would dare to jump on such an ambitious project with so many people from all over the world. So that's the story.
Do you want to add anything, Sergey?
Well, Anastasia told probably everything in short. And I agree. If COVID wouldn't shake the earth, um, probably it would be not so. Um, uh, Sorry, I'm not very good in English,
No, no.
but I'll try to say what I think. Um, the project itself seems at first very difficult. So at first we planned to do Just couple of songs, some with talharpa, another with duduk, and maybe one with koto, something like that. And if I recall it correctly, the first idea was to make an EP album with concept of something like change of seasons, something
Oh,
like that. Yeah. But then, as we started work remotely, I'm from Georgia, Anastasia from Poland, and other guys in Minsk. Uh, it started to be clear that we have much more to do and much more to share with the world. So now we have this album, which we are really honor of.
definitely. No, no. And speaking of that album, one of the great things about this band, we're going to talk about a couple things, a couple albums, but um, they have brought back the concept album to um, symphonic metal, to female-led symphonic metal, however you want to call it. But thank you for that. Thank you. And sounds like they're going to continue doing things like that. We're going to talk about that later. But first of all, yeah, thank you for that. Let's go back just one, I think it's one album, Crime of Passion. And it was based on a movie. So talk about how you did that and a little bit about that album. Dying to hear it. I haven't heard it yet, but I am going to go and get it when I
Sure.
can or when I can find it. But tell us a little bit about that one.
Yes, there is a movie, but the movie is based on the book. So we based on the book. It's a novel by Fowles, which is called The Collector. And the overall plot is the guy got obsessed with the girl. He kidnaps her and holds her as a hostage. So we had an idea of doing this album in a style of a mono rock opera, where we have all these
Yeah.
traditional operatic elements in different songs. We have leitmotifs which repeat from song to song, like a theme of a girl, theme of the abductor.
Kidnapper.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. And we had most of the songs written already that would fall into this framework. So we had to fill in the gaps, and we did it in the process. So the last album, Pearl Hunting, has this concept of involving people from different parts of the world, but the songs lyrically are not connected one with another. It's not a single story; it's a number of stories. With Crime of Passion, it's one story that is overarching the whole album.
And I think one of the parts of this is that on that album, you looked at both sides of people that are the victims and then people that are the perpetrators. And
Yes.
so that in
Mhm.
itself
Yes.
is got to get you interested in wanting to hear it. How difficult was that um, to look at both sides and to look, and I haven't heard it yet, but to try to look at it, I guess, fairly from both sides.
Yes, it is from both sides. It was also inspired by the book, which has chapters from one person, chapters from another. It wasn't hard to write it or to create it. It was somehow a challenge sometimes recording the vocals because you need to switch between different mindsets, between different emotions. And sometimes we
Mhm.
recorded several songs in a row, so you needed to always think about the message you're sending. But it
Mhm.
was really interesting, at least to me, it was very interesting and challenging.
Same here.
All right, now describe pearl hunting, which uh, it looks like you sort of already said, like this trip around the world from different perspectives and stories from different parts of the world. Um, where'd you come up with that idea? And thank you for doing so. Who came up with that idea, and how did you put all that together? Because and I guess while we're there, how did you get in contact with all these different people? And yeah, let's start there, and then I got a follow up.
Yes,
It
Sergey is
was
smiling
really
because it was a
tough.
challenge. Yes.
This was
Well,
really tough challenge.
we didn't think about it as an album at first. And I think if we did, we probably wouldn't dare because it's a lot of work. But we had some ideas. We loved certain instruments. For example, I really wanted to use tagl harp in one of the songs. I really wanted to use shamisen. And Sergey had his own favorites. He wanted to use duduk. So we
Ulan
was
pipes.
and Hidden
And
pipes,
the
yes.
pipes, yeah. Oh my God.
So we had a number of instruments of our those that have special places in our hearts, and we wanted to incorporate it in our songs. And that was the idea initially. And the first song that we did it with Finnish musician Tero Kalemäki. And to tell the truth, this collaboration was so smooth and so cool that it kind of ignited me to proceed with this idea. If it wasn't smooth, probably I would give up on this stage. So I actually found his band, I think, on Spotify. I found them on Facebook and just wrote him and asked him if he wants to join. And he said, like, yes, of course, immediately. And that was the process. In most of the cases, it was a bit difficult. It was not so easy to find a proper person, but I was literally hunting them through Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I was searching for people who were playing specific instruments and trying to contact them. And strangely, the hardest instrument to get, I think, was duduk. There are a lot of people who play it, but it's really hard to get in touch.
And it was a really strange thing because we found one person, Anastasia found one person, I found another person, and both said, okay, okay, we will record. I will record. And then they disappeared. It
Yes,
happens
sadly, it
probably
happens
three
sometimes.
times until we find Lernik.
Yes, well, it was also a challenge because some of the musicians are touring musicians. Sometimes they are not available. Also, after COVID, many people had lost access to studio, and they had to reconsider their working routine, and it also added a layer of challenge. But as we progressed, when we had enough songs to have an EP ready, we realized that we also have enough material to proceed and to do more, to do like a full album. And we had still instruments that we wanted to use left, so we just couldn't stop.
All
And
right.
some songs already written, by the way.
And you both already mentioned your favorite instruments. Are there others that you're like, I think you said the Uilleann pipes. There's others that you just were like, you started putting the music together and you said, we've got to have this, you know?
Probably yes. It was something like Anastasia sent me the demo of the song, and we began to brainstorming which instrument would suit this song, which atmosphere would be really fit for this track, and then probably I don't know, symbolum. No, no, not that. Maybe this one, and finally we've always got to right conclusion and right decision, and I'm really happy with what it turned out to be.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
really wanted to include one more instrument, which was kora, African thing, but unfortunately we didn't have a proper song for that, and it would be a challenge to create one because it's a very unfamiliar culture, at least for me, and I wouldn't want to do something that is completely out of their overall approach.
Yeah.
So if that would be possible, we would do this. But at some point, we had to stop ourselves because the album is almost 1 hour long. It's pretty long already, you know. So
Mhm.
it's impossible to fit everything. There are a lot of great instruments in this world, and to be
Mm.
honest, some of those we used, I never heard about them before we started searching and digging into different cultures. And it was also like an exploratory journey for me, and I learned a lot in process.
But I think if we would have some stuff that would fit to this conception again, I think we could do some postscriptum thing.
Yeah, I
I think
think I
she,
got addicted. I just can no longer do a song with only
No,
us
it's
six.
it's really it's really very interesting. It's really very um, it's a great thing. I think we should go on with that.
I was going to say,
At
once you
at
start,
least couple of more songs.
well, you should shoot for that one she was talking about, the African one. Yeah, for the next album, maybe. I mean, not the whole theme, but maybe have that song on there.
And
That'd
and
be
I really still dreaming of a song to make a song which will be dedicated to our homeland, to
oh
Belarus.
yeah, yeah,
And I really hope we will do that on the next album.
good. Maybe a whole concept on that. Anyway, I don't want to tell you what to do, but
It's up to Anastasia.
yeah, no. I'm not telling you what to do. Tell us about the other members of the band since they're not here, and just talk about and you said they're still in Belarus.
We have our keyboardist Maria. She is in Poland,
Oh, okay.
between different cities, but at least we can meet with her. And we have three guys in Belarus, which is our guitarists. They're both named Ilya, so it's hard to differentiate. And we
Hmm.
have Rosti, who is our drummer, who is also in Minsk. So we have like Polish department, Belarusian department, and Georgian one, but we really hope to merge Georgian with Polish. So,
I think it would be
yes,
soon, probably. I really hope so.
because if Sergey is in Poland, we at least can easily organize some acoustic
Uh,
sessions with three of us,
it
with
would be
keyboards and
the
acoustic
whole
guitar.
process would be so much easier that way. So
Yes,
I really hope that that in the future, in the nearest future, I will have an opportunity to move to Poland either.
the hardest part with us in three countries is that we can no longer just all gather in one studio and
Hmm.
discuss things on the go, just record and experiment and get instant feedback. I was missing this a lot in the beginning when I started to record vocals here and send it to Sergey. And it was, of course, longer and more challenging than when we did it in the same room. But I got used to that, but I'm still missing this the whole feeling of doing it together.
How hard is it to move from country to country in the, we used to call it the Soviet bloc, but it's not the Soviet bloc anymore. But in Eastern Europe, how easy is it to move between Georgia and Poland?
You mean from the legal perspective or
Yeah,
from
legal, political. Yeah.
It's not so
Oh,
easy
okay.
for us, but it's possible. It's possible, but a lot of things should be done. But I think we will get there soon.
Okay. That's a good answer.
it's really hard to move from Belarus somewhere, for example, on tour, because first of all, we have huge issues with visas. You
It's the
can't just
hardest thing.
go and get a visa to go to Europe, and that's a huge pain. Moreover, we don't have planes flying to Europe anymore after this plane
Mhm.
story. So the only option left is a bus, and it can be also challenging because you need to add extra days for this.
Mhm. Even
So
trains are impossible for now.
anymore, yes.
And there are just enormous
Queues
yeah,
Cost.
on
Yeah.
on
the
the
border,
border side, on the
yes.
border line. Something terrible.
Sometimes people need to wait there for hours and you can't plan anything. So Yeah.
Mhm.
That's another layer of complexity, but we need to work with what we have, I think.
All right. I want to ask you specifically, Anastasia. I compared you to Tarja, Tanya. They say her name a lot of different ways. Where did you learn to sing? Did you just do it yourself, or did you have professional training? Because you really sing well.
Thank you. I was attending musical school. I was playing violin, and of course, I did some singing there, but it was not the main thing I did. So after that, for a few years, I couldn't stand anything music related because I hated the school, I hated teachers, I hated everything. And then I kind of was gravitated to it again. So I started writing songs and singing, and then I was out looking for some vocal coaches I could work with. And basically, then I started to work individually with different people and trying to improve some particular areas. I would say it like that. I believe that on this second album, I have evolved because I met a fantastic vocal coach here in Poland who actually joined us in the recording. It's Ada, who joined us for Krew, September, Pearl Hunting, Sons, and she is an extreme vocals coach. So I started to practice growling, screaming, these things, and learned a lot. So I can't say that I had a like professional education here or attended a jazz school or whatever, but I try to improve and to learn with people I meet.
Okay. And you, what was I going to say? Um, so the would you say that Tanya Tarja was a inspiration to you, or was there someone else who was sort of your idol, or who did you follow?
I love Taria with all my heart. I've been at her concert, I think, last year, and she is amazing. They were with Marco together, and it's just something so warm and something that brings a lot of memories. And of course, when I first heard Nightwish, I was shocked. It was something magical to me, and I loved it from the first listen. But I also was very into Sandra Nazic from Guana Apes. I thought that that was just my role model, and I thought that she was like immersively cool. Of course, Emily from Evanescence. It was impossible not to get into them, at least in my surrounding. And my first musical obsession, I think, was Roxette and Mary
Oh
Fredriksson.
yeah.
Yes, and the way
Great
they
band.
approach
Very great
songwriting.
band.
Yes, it's still my comfort music when I feel sad. I get back to their albums. I love what they did.
All right, your first song, the title song, you just like I say, when you first put that on, when I first put it on, I was like, wow, how are these guys not being, in concerts throughout Europe? I mean, she's ready. And the band too, of course. And I'm like, why haven't I heard about these guys yet? Because they are fantastic. But that first song, talk about the opener, because you really set the stage well for the rest of the album. And both of you can talk about that if you want.
I think I will start, and Sergey can add
Mhm.
something if he has. We wrote this song, I think, the last on the album.
Isn't that
We,
funny? Yeah.
yeah, it is. We kind of reserved a place for some intro song, and we at first thought to make it instrumental. But then I was started to think about this pearl hunting concept that we had for the album, and I thought that what if this song would be like a meta description of the songwriting process behind the album, of the whole journey we had. Like we start from the north, from Finland, as we did with the first song. Then we go through Ukraine. We go through those forests with some secrets. Then we moved to the south when we had this September. Then we go to the east with Black Waters and Jorogomo. And Sergei added appropriate instruments on top of that to tell these regional stories. And I thought that it's kind of cool because the song is self-descriptive. It describes what would happen in the album. So that's how it evolved.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
each of these songs is the pearl that you've hunted and and the musicians, you kind of mentioned the musicians, the instruments they play, those were kind of the pearls that you gathered.
Yes, yes. At some point, I literally felt that we are hunting for beautiful sounds, for talented people, for some unique instruments that are not so widely used, at least in symphonic metal. And when we found something really, really cool, and when we could incorporate it in some organic way, I felt that we did something really great. So I thought of it as a pearl.
Yes, and it definitely was. You got so many people out there trying to mimic, growling and doing the stuff that's been done so many times before, and you're creating something new for this generation. And I hope you get rewarded for it. You all deserve this. I mean, and I mean everyone that participated, even the guests. But I'm sorry, I think I'm cutting off Sergey. He wanted to say something.
Um, Probably I wanted to add to what Anastasia said that it about pearl hunting song itself, that it would be really great to use all the instrument alive. So both tal harpa, which is there also, and some Japanese instruments, but it was just impossible to put all the instrument I needed to make this conception alive, this concept alive. Uh, so we just decided that we need Belarusian duda, it's Belarusian bagpipe. We need uh, Celtic bouzouki, and we need a lyre there. We, I wanted Kradik lyre, but Anastasia found Germanic lyre. But nevertheless, great, great. It sounds great.
All
Just
right,
what we needed.
Fallen Idol is brings in those pipes and whistles, and you feel like you're walking on the Scottish Highlands. Is that the overall feel for that? And we already know Anastasia's hero, but Sergey, who's your sort of hero or idol, um,
Mhm.
as far as musician or any kind?
Mhm. As for as a vocalist, personally, I was the mostly inspired by Michael Kiske from Halloween and Roy Khan from Camelot, probably. Probably,
Okay.
probably these two the mostly, maybe even Roy Khan the most, the
Okay.
mostly. Um, as a musician in general, um, probably also Camelot, uh, Avantasia, Aerion.
Yeah.
Uh,
How could you not? Yeah. Yeah.
Arion, it's one of my favorite projects. It's so great. It's so, and I really like its conceptual thing.
Arjun's a
Uh,
genius. He really is.
mhm. Yes, yes, he
You
is
guys,
definitely.
you guys should all get invitations because you're kind of doing what he did. Bringing these people in from, and you guys are all very talented. I hope he watches this, and yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll contact these. Yeah, no, really. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. I'm also a fan. Yeah. Any others? I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but any others that you wanted to talk about, Sergey?
Oh, there's a
Sorry.
lot of them. I like also folk stuff, especially German folk stuff, such as D'Artagnan, Santiano. I like symphonic metal, the old good symphonic metal, such as Nightwish, Within Temptation. So um, I like jazz. I like uh, sometimes even pop rock. Why not?
Sure, sure.
So
All right.
uh, everything which is that is good, it is good.
There you go. Should be
If it is music,
recognized.
it's great.
There you go. There you go. Okay, now Exorcism, probably one of the best songs on the album, but then you watch the video, and I tell everyone, please watch that video. That must have probably cost a fortune, but you did a unbelievably close job of capturing the power of that original movie. I'm old enough to remember seeing it in the theaters and how scary that was. But you guys, how did you pull all those people together with everything else, Anastasia is doing, trying to bring all these people in to play music? Then you say, well, now let's do a video. And that must have uh, taken a lot of time to put that together. You really did a great job.
Thank you, thank you. This is a huge kudos to Martina and Ricardo who made this happen. And basically, we were introduced through the label. I was searching for someone who could do the music video because the guys I've been working with, they also moved from Belarus after 2020 and they had to rebuild everything from scratch. And it was really not an option to shoot it here with their help. And we got introduced, and those guys are just incredibly talented. So it didn't cost a fortune. They always have the ways to do things look really, really good and professional with little effort. And that's why I was just blown away by their level of professionalism. So that's
Where
how it
where
happened
was
Yeah.
it? Where
in
was it filmed?
Italy.
I'm sorry, where was it filmed?
In Italy. It was filmed in Italy. There is a small medievalish city called Viterbo. It's close to Rome, but for some reason I never heard about it, and I think it's underestimated in tourist industry because
Yeah.
it's just fantastically beautiful. So we were staying there, and we had I think 3 or 4 shooting days, and everything was really really close and
Or,
very
or
cozy.
But that takes great planning to get it done in 3 days. And you guys have
Yes,
never,
but
go
it
ahead.
wasn't on me, honestly, that these are the guys who did all the planning, and I realized how stressful this have been for them. But they did a great job. So if they will be listening to this interview, I'm just saying thank you once again.
We keep cutting you off, Sergey. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's all right. But I think Anastasia said enough for this topic. I just can say that I really was blown away when I saw the result. It's something really magical. So yes, these guys are just great.
And so they're all Italian actors, and okay.
Yes, and
Uh,
the funny thing is that the guy who was playing the main exorcist was in a movie before, and he was
oh,
playing the Pope.
oh my
So
Mm,
he
goodness.
has some
cool.
very yes,
So you
and
had some definite training, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Uh,
a bit of a challenge because everyone was Italian. I don't speak Italian, and of course they wouldn't speak English all the time for me, and they could so they could communicate between each other. But I know a bit of Spanish, so I at least understood the general line of thought.
the Latin, yeah, yeah, the Latin connection, yeah.
And
All right. And um, anything you want to say about the song itself, or um, uh, have you, both of you, ever felt that kind of magnetism where you're so attracted to somebody that you absolutely need, well, maybe don't need an exorcism, but you need somebody to help pull you away for a little bit. I've been there. I'm there now. I'm married, but um but yeah, how about you guys?
Of course, like I'm an artist, I feel things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel I'm stronger. That's probably healthy, but it helps me to get the inspiration and to translate it into music. And I think that this is something that makes it relatable to many people because most of us have been in this place. Don't know about Sergey.
I think everyone have been there because especially when we are very young, that
Yeah.
teen ages and something like 20, 25, you always feel the things very passionate and
Yep.
blamey.
Yes, and
Right.
in regards to this song, we were not sure what instruments to use at first, and it was our guitarist Ilya who suggested to use
Yes, it
erhu
was him.
from China, and then Sergey started digging into it, and
And
we switched from erhu to morinkur from Mongolia
this
because
is what my idea
it gave us
because
more freedom.
uh, in general, I can say that Morin Hur, for my opinion, is much more deep and beautiful. They're kind of similar. They're very alike, Erhu and Morin Hur, but Morin Hur is much deeper, and I definitely like it. The most tough thing was to dig in the culture which we are not belong to, and the culture which is very, very far away from us, both mentally and culturally. Um, it was really hard, but it was very interesting.
First time
One.
when we heard
Oh,
when this Ulji Khan sent us the recordings and we heard Marinko record it live, I had goosebumps. Really, when you just do it with some different instrument, it's not like that. You don't have this effect, but when it's live, it's mind blowing.
Hmm.
But the best thing is that when we were exploring, we found a lot of fantastic Mongolian bands. And it's a shame that they are not really so well known. Like everybody knows The
yeah.
Who, obviously,
Hmm.
but there is a number of other bands that are fantastic. So I have now a huge
Yeah,
Spotify
yeah.
list with all my favorites because we found a lot of great stuff.
For the
Hmm.
future, I hope. Um, just one thing I wanted to say because I forgot to mention it, but one thing that's wonderful about Anastasia's voice is, yes, you guys sent me the lyrics, but you really didn't need them. She's that clear, and you can understand what she's saying.
I
So
agree.
I want to say thank you for
Thank you.
that. That obviously, as you mentioned, takes training. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to have that lyric sheet there with you, but you can understand what she's saying. And then the next thing I was going to say is with the guitar work, and it sounded like you guys had already started talking about Blame Me, but if not, that's where we're going. But the guitar on that song is not overwhelming, and in fact, all of the guitar work on this entire album. Some bands you'll put it on and it's just like it's screeching in your ear, and you're like, okay, let's move on to the next song. I can't take it anymore. You don't feel that with yours. It's just enough. You definitely, there's times when you get hard, you get loud. Nothing wrong with that. That's part of rock and roll. But when it's just screeching like a drill or a grinder, it's like it's too much. How do you balance that? Because you did a great job doing that.
Mm. It was tough, but I think we did it.
You definitely did.
It,
Sergey is laughing because we have like a focus group of people who give us advice on the sound.
Mhm.
And when we
Oh,
were in the process of mixing, he was showing the results to different people. And of course, they gave us feedback. And sometimes it was very contradictory. Someone said that guitars are fantastic. Other people said that everything is good but the guitars. And Sergey had to balance it off somehow to find this perfect sound. So it was, I think, very stressful and hard for him. So it's nice to hear that he managed.
but working with focus group have has its pros and cons. Cons that sometimes it's very contradictory, but pros that sometimes another people with another ears can hear something that you didn't while you are mixing, and you are used to the sound, and you think that everyone's okay. And some other guy said, "Look, everything's okay, but here maybe I think uh, you should raise, well, maybe bass half of the decibel, for the half of the decibel," and you began to listen and think, I think it's a great idea.
but then you're
So,
changing what you wanted to do, right? I think
of
that's
course,
where
of
you're
course,
going.
it
It's
it
like
was it was very.
it's nice. It's nice to have the input, but now they're changing everything.
Yeah, yeah. It was very often then when me and Anastasia discussed the feedback and decided, no, we are not agree with that, and we should leave the things as they are because everything sounds good, and now we would only ruin everything if we will try to please everyone.
Yeah, yeah. But I gotta thank you. You guys didn't know this, but I'm also a marketing public relations teacher online, and you're using focus groups. I'm like, I can't believe they said that. And when you said it, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I like you guys even more now.
Thank
But
you.
no, I've never heard anyone mention that before, and you're so far ahead of the wave and keep that going. Yeah, and like I say, there's pros and
Thank you so
cons, just
much.
like you said, but keep doing that because yeah, you're getting the immediate feedback from people, and thank you. I mean, I'm baffled. I mean, it's excellent to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
When you're working on a song, you basically hear it for 100 times, and of
Mhm.
course, you at some point already stop paying attention to certain things. So, from the very beginning, I think we did this. We where it is not like a formal focus group when
Right.
everything is organized, but the idea is yes that we have people that we are showing some mixes to and asking what they think about it, and it's really helped us a lot. We mentioned
Mhm.
those people in our CD booklet because they really helped us get the sound that we wanted.
Excellent. All right. Winter Sleep is a beautiful song, especially this time of year. Your voice is fantastic. Is that one also Scottish Highlands or I should be asking you what are some of the themes because that was one of the things that you try to do was put certain instruments and certain to sort of give it a locality as well as the concept of the song itself.
Yeah, it's basically Ireland. So it's close, but not exactly the same. But the interesting thing is that one of the guest musicians, Ella, who recorded uilleann pipes and whistles for us, she's basically playing in the band called Sour from Scotland. And they have this Scottish flair in the music. And I need to say that they're just fantastic. So they released an album, I think, last month, and that's just great. So if you're into Scottish sounds, I highly recommend them and like basically any Ella's work because she is amazing. And again, when we heard those parts recorded, we were just blown away hearing those
Mhm.
instruments live.
Anything, Sergey?
Just yes, because when you're using sampled instruments, it could sound okay and even great.
Yeah.
Today's technologies are really
Mind
something
blowing.
mind-blowing. Yes, yes, mind-blowing. But when you hear live instruments, you understand, yes, this
There
is
is the
it.
difference, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well,
So
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say that I really believe that um, this AI thing wouldn't kill the music anytime soon.
Not yet.
Not
I
yet.
would not predict it for like 10 years from now on.
Good.
But for now, I can say that there is a huge difference between live and not live instrument. And we have witnessed it like 11 times on this album with every
Hmm.
song.
Hmm.
There's something about that human expression. You're absolutely
Yes,
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 this also
definitely.
can't be mimicked yet.
you can feel it. Humans can feel it. I mean, if you're making music for robots, yeah, AI is perfect because they don't they don't care. They just want to
Hmm.
play music, but you're not, and no one is. And thank God you guys believe in that. That's good to hear. All right. Losing Faith is my wife's favorite song on the album
Hmm.
because she's from Ecuador, South America.
Oh,
Hmm.
fantastic.
Now, I
Hmm.
understand it's a Peruvian story, but tell me a little bit more about the story behind that. And she just loved those flutes at the beginning. It was like, go ahead.
Well, basically, those instruments are like related to the region, not only Peru, but all the three are in
Yeah.
Peru. But they are also used like in Andean region.
Hmm.
So
We
I
just
have
wanted to make a song with Indian instruments.
it's something pre-Hispanic. We were searching for these sounds because if we're claiming to have an album which travels across the world, it would be really strange to ignore like America in the wholeness. So we really wanted to hear this. And when Sergey heard this song, he had this association from the very beginning. He said, okay, this is like pre-Hispanic sounds. We are doing this like that. And then we found Carlos, and he was into this idea from the very beginning. But he normally doesn't do metal music. He's more focused on meditational music, music intended for healing with sound, this like spiritual practices, and tying this traditional stuff into modern things. So the things that he does are a bit different, but he was very open to experiment. And I can say this about many people actually. Not all the musicians we worked with are into metal, but they all said like, "Sounds cool. I'm in."
That
Hmm.
is good. Yeah. And I definitely understand that because there's a lot of folk uh, musicians that I talk to in that, and people wouldn't consider them progressive, but some of the things they're doing are very progressive. And same thing here. It fits with the theme that you were going with. And thank you. Thank you for reaching out like that. I got to ask it to you just real quick before we get back into the rest of the album. Um, what countries have you explored? I have not explored too many countries other than Mexico and Canada, to be honest. But how about in Europe? You guys have more time. You have the holidays and things like that. I don't know about Eastern Europe, but in Western Europe, they have about a month a year where you can go and travel. And you already mentioned it's a little difficult to travel, but where all are some of the places you've been?
I've been to a lot, actually. I think I've been to most European countries, like Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, Switzerland, Austria. I can go on.
What's your
Outside
favorite?
Iceland.
Oh,
From those
really?
one, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. But from outside of Europe, I've been to Japan. I've been to Vietnam, Turkey, and Georgia. I think that's it. And Japan is, at least for now, one very special to me. It was such a comfortable journey, like two journeys.
Yeah.
I've been there twice, and that when I grew this passion to shamisen, I thought, no way, we are doing a song with shamisen.
Wow. And it's very clean. That's what I've heard. And
It is.
why Iceland? Just
It, it felt like a different planet to a certain
wow.
extent. And I was amazed by very simple things, like how the air is so clean that when you breathe, you literally get the feeling that you are stuck with a knife. I don't know, in a good way. Like it never breathed such a fresh air before. Also, the water, there is so it has a lot of like chemical stuff from the thermal sources that makes it really smooth for the skin. So you don't need hair conditioner or lotion because it just moisturizes you naturally. The food is like superb quality, and those simple things you just think like, well, why don't I have it here? And the nature
Good.
is just mind blowing. It looks like nothing I've seen before. All these landscapes, the geysers and things, the colors are so bright because of the air,
Mhm.
because of humidity. It's just like very bright and high contrast, and everything you look, it's like an Instagram picture. So it would be impossible not to fall in love with this country. I would say it's like that. But in general, I'm just a big fan of traveling, and I can't probably name a country that I didn't like to a certain extent. I always try to find something special about this place and to understand it better.
If you ever get over to the Pacific Northwest, that's where I'm at, way on the West Coast, the northern West Coast. You walk through the whole rainforest and the Olympic Peninsula. You may feel what you just mentioned because I've felt that, and that was wonderful. Sergey, how about you?
Um,
What?
I've been not in so much countries as Anastasia, but I probably can say that one of my favorite places, which I've seen, was also in the north. It was a small town, Haparanda, on the border of Finland and Sweden.
Oh,
And
okay.
I just agree with Anastasia. I just can see these beautiful colors. I was there in autumn, in September, and this is so beautiful. Such a I can describe it with my words. It's the nature there is really beautiful. Especially there was sun most of the time, and this red, yellow, green, and everything so contrast. So yeah, and and also I have really great memories of visiting Italy. I've been in Toscana. I've been in
Oh, yeah.
Florence and this region, Tuscanian, and it's also so beautiful. These mountains, I really in love with the mountains, and
Mhm.
also I really love mountainous Georgia. This Svanetia, it's also really beautiful. I've been there two times. Both times in winter, and it's just so beautiful there.
You probably have been there three times because we were shooting a music video there.
It's not Svanetia, it's Svanetia in another district of the country.
Okay. Because Georgian mountains are really something. They're very different from, for example,
Switzerland.
Alpines here.
Hmm.
It's completely different picture, and I was really impressed.
Hmm.
All right. Well, let's stick with nature and black waters. Beautiful
Hmm.
song, beautiful video. Another one, and I got to ask you, was that a lake in Belarus, or where did you film that? or was
Oh,
that the,
Sergey filmed it in Georgia. It's the sea.
oh, the Black Sea, I
Is
think.
it the Black Sea? Sergey.
In Georgia, it's the Black Sea.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was a Black Sea. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I didn't think about it this way, but it makes sense to shoot Black
Yeah,
Sea for
Black
Black
Waters.
Waters.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
Black
perfect.
Waters.
Yeah, Black Waters. Yeah, no. Um, but yeah, go ahead and talk a little bit about that. I'm going to be quiet.
This was the most experimental song on the album, I think. And at first, we tried a different approach. We thought more about even adding some electronic elements
Hmm.
there, but we felt that it was off. It just didn't work. So I remember us having a video call, and we were talking about regions that we could use for this one. And we literally opened Google Maps and started searching because we have already used a lot of places, and we were out for fresh ideas. And like that's Black Waters, there's a water theme, and we were looking for some country that is surrounded by water, probably. And then
Probably some
we
oceanic.
Yes, yes, yes. And then we thought about Indonesia, and we started Googling what kind of traditional music they have. And to be honest, before that, I didn't know anything about it. I
Mhm.
obviously heard something because this is the stuff they usually play in some spa salons and massages, the relaxing stuff, but I never really paid attention. And we thought that that could be a very interesting experiment, very hard because we don't understand how this works, but very challenging. And then we found this fantastic Malik guy who was into these instruments, and
Great guy.
he was something special because he was so into this song, he was into this whole idea, and he suggested a lot of things, and he explained how this instrument worked and recorded a
Hmm.
ton of things more than we actually asked. And then we listened to his songs because he's also a vocalist, and we loved his voice, and we suggested what if he sang to us some parts of in Sundanese in his native language to make it even deeper connected with Indonesia.
Hmm.
And he was like, say no more. He went and wrote the lyrics that made sense and fit in the whole song
Yeah.
concept. And I think we've been blessed with this collaboration because he is just fantastic. And that's what made the whole process so rewarding, because you meet people from very remote places when you've never been yourself, and you immediately got a common ground. You
Yeah,
got things to talk about, you understand each other, and you're both like burning with the same passion, but you have so many differences, like cultural or religious, politician. It doesn't matter. It
no,
doesn't matter because this
no.
music thing is like common language for us, and I think that's amazing. I wish like people would use this more often, honestly.
Mhm.
I second that emotion. Absolutely. No, yeah. Sergey?
Hmm. I think Anastasia said
It's
everything
hard to top
so
what she
beautifully.
says.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wanted to add some stories, but I don't
Yeah.
think we really need it. But about Malik's vocals. At first, when we thought of arrangement, we I decided to make some sort of slide guitar solo in there because I really like the sound of this
Mhm.
slide guitar, and it was quite good, by the way, I think. But yeah, then Anastasia said, listen, maybe we should ask Malik to do the vocals. You should listen to his own stuff. And I listened and I think, wow, it's really cool. Maybe it would be really much, much better and much, much more interesting than just slide solo. And we proposed him to do that. And he already said, yeah, yeah, I will do this. And I will read a mantra there also.
Wow.
And
Excellent.
when we've got the tracks from him, it was wow.
Yep.
Yes, really great man, really great musician.
Yeah, I'm
It
telling you,
brings up a lot of
everyone,
memories, actually.
Hmm.
please listen to what they're saying and do it. Reach out because there's so many people out there that can benefit and um, make your album even that much better. Excellent. Next up is Willow, and it's probably the darkest, or it has a little bit of a dark feature to it. And as I was mentioning, if you go out to our Olympic Peninsula, it's it's a national park, so you can't build on it, and it's very, very natural. And there's places you can go where it feels like Willow. You're alone, and there's absolute silence, and other than birds and things, natural things.
Hmm.
And when I was listening to the song, I'm thinking, when my wife and I did a hike back there to a rainforest. It's a rainforest too. It's a northern rainforest, and we did some hiking to waterfall. And as you're getting there, you're constantly looking around because it is so quiet, and it kind of put me in the feeling for Willow. Is that kind of the experience you've had where you're out hiking in nature and you know there's a natural fear, but I think at the same time what you're saying is don't fear it. It's the way it's supposed to be. It's nature. Enjoy it. But naturally, we're so used to noise and TVs and phones and things like that that when we get out in nature, we don't know how to handle it.
I had an experience like that. We have a very beautiful swamp in Belarus, and it
Mm.
literally has no sounds. It doesn't have birds or insects like flies, mosquitoes, nothing, like no sound at all. And it's in the same time, it's terrifying and it's very beautiful. It's something that you don't ever hear in the city. But the song was not particularly about this experience. But when I was composing it, I was thinking a lot like, okay, so you go out at night, you're under a willow, what will you hear? What will you smell? What will you see? What will be around you? So I was trying to construct this context, really. But the overall song is about vampire.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically,
Japanese, right?
no, the Japanese is the Jerogomo, but this
Oh,
one is
that's right.
just
I'm
a
sorry. Yeah, that
old,
couple
good
songs.
traditional
Yeah.
vampire from European folklore. The thing is,
Good
like,
old
I
vampires.
always wanted to do a song about a vampire, because our band's name is actually inherited from a vampire from a book from Anita Blake series. So it would only make sense to do it one day. And then I finally had this idea. I just didn't want to do something very, cliche, stereotypical kind of thing, because there are a lot of songs and movies about vampires. Some are good, some are not so great. I wanted to do something fresh. So I was thinking about Willow as a main symbol of the song because I always had a soft spot for willows since my childhood. I thought that they're really cool because while other trees are so tensed, the willow is very chill and relaxed. And I thought
Yeah.
that that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It
So I
unfolds. Yeah. Yeah.
So I took this willow and I also thought about what would be the role of the tree in the whole story, what it can do. Can it hide secrets? Can it be like a witness that can never tell? Can it give some hints? Will it help vampire? Will it help the victim? So that's how it developed.
Hmm. Interesting. Sergey, any?
Uh, I can tell more about musical stories once
Sure.
again. And uh, when Anastasia told me about the concept, I started to think what this song could sound like. And I definitely decided that it should be something like middle-aged flavors. And I decided to record classical guitar there, and I started to
Yes.
record it. I
Very good.
recorded the whole thing in classical guitar, but at this time, me, my wife, and some of our friends um, were me and my wife were proposed to watch with our friends film Only Lovers Left Alive.
Oh,
And I saw there a vampire playing a lute.
oh,
And I
wow.
thought, yes,
There you
yes,
go.
we need a lute in this song. So my classical guitar stayed only in the second part, and the first part was played by great lady, which recorded lute there, beautifully recorded.
And I also really was into Hardy-Gardy at the moment. I was
Yes,
listening to
Hardy-Gardy.
a lot of Cellar Darling, and we also
Mhm.
had already met Ruben, who did Odd and Saz for September. And
Mhm.
when we just got acquainted to each other, he showed us his studio, he showed us what instruments he had, and he is a huge fan of Hardy-Gardy, and he had it, and he plays it like perfectly. And by the way, recently he published a book about it and the whole album. So I had it in my mind, and I thought, yeah, I want Hardy-Gardy on some of the songs, and that
Yeah,
one seems to
Also
be.
love it. And Ruben also just so great.
excellent. All right. And September, I was born in September, so I love September. I
Oh.
love the fall. Um, Tell us, well, what is your favorite time of the year, both of you, and then just talk about the what inspired you to call it September.
I like both autumn and winter. I sometimes am torn between what I like the most. Sometimes the autumn is just heartbreakingly beautiful with all those colors, but if the winter has snow, this feeling of a snow-covered fairy tale, it will always win my heart. September was the song that I ironically wrote in September years ago. So basically, that was the source for the name. And I really was joking around with this phrase like, and if I survive this autumn, I will never fall for you. I thought it was kind of
Mhm.
cool. So that was how it was born. And initially, I thought that that would be a song with Japanese instruments. I really saw it
Yes.
this way, but Sergei talked me out of it and suggested something else.
Mhm. Yes, because I began to think about this song, and I decided, well, this melody definitely not Japanese. It's more suited to the Eastern flavors, to Mid East. And we decided to made it this way with saz and oud. Uh, and I think it was really a right decision because then Anastasia wrote the song for the Japanese part, and this song is my personal favorite.
Yeah,
So
he
you said it
left me
was
no choice.
Yeah, one
Giorgio,
of them.
yes.
My favorite probably Jorogumo, Blame Me, and Black Waters, and
okay.
Willow.
For me,
All
it
of them,
changed.
all of them.
It changed all the time. Blame me. To be honest, it was really hard to record it emotionally, and I think I was kind of needed some therapy for a week after the recording because I
Wow.
gave a lot like emotionally in the recording. So for me, it's a bit hard to listen to the song because it's very like emotionally charged.
You-
But for a long time, Exorcism was my favorite. Then we did Willow, and it was my favorite. Right now, Giacomo also is one of the favorites for me.
So
So
this
this
is, I'm
this is
sorry,
yes, yes, please go on.
a Japanese Black Widow. Is it a gaming thing, or is this like goes way back in culture?
It goes way back in
Okay.
culture. It's a demon, this woman that can shapeshift into a spider. And initially, it's a beautiful woman who lures a man in her place and then turns into a spider and kills them. So at the moment when I came up with this idea, I was actually listening to a song, Sirens of Blood and Water, I think it's called, with Simon Simmons, Mercure, and Charlotte Vessels. And I was thinking about this whole concept. It's based on this Little Mermaid fairy tale.
Oh yeah.
The concept of having to kill somebody you love to be free, to survive. Like this mermaid was left with this choice, and in the fairy tale, as far as I know, she decided not to go for it. In the song, the sisters of the mermaid were trying to talk her into doing this. So I was wondering if there are any plots like this in folklore and somewhere else when you need to make this choice, you need to defend yourself. And I was looking into very different regions, and then I just found this Jeragoma thing. And initially, I was envisioning the song also having this finale when you need to kill this woman. But when I did it this way, it felt like it's this is just a song, it's not the album. If you put the whole story of developing emotional attachment to this spider woman and then going for the kill and then freeing, it's just too much happening for one song. So I decided to leave it an open ending to that. But that was really interesting because it was really the case when we were hunting for regional story instruments, the style of writing, because Japanese songwriting is a bit different from, not a bit, like it's very different from European, and we had to educate ourselves.
Anything you want to add, Sergey?
About Jorgoma?
Yeah. That's your favorite, I think you said?
It was probably one of the most hard songs as a process of creating, in the sense of process of creating, because there was probably three versions of this song, because we are thinking about arrangements, recording, and then we understand that's not, it's not it. We should make something it's in another way, and then situation repeats itself, and when finally we get to the this version which is on the album, we thought, yes, this is it.
But basically, we need to thank our guitarist here because at some point we were probably tired and already thought that that's good enough. And he said he's like a very diplomatical guy. He never says like, "I hate it. That sucks. Redo this."
Oh,
he
God.
never does it. But when everybody gave the feedback, he was silent. And then we said like, "Hey, what do you think?" And he said, "Well, if you're asking, I don't like it." And he elaborated on it. And it was hard, really, because you work on this song a lot, you redo stuff, but I think in our hearts we realized that it was not it. So this feedback, actually, I'm really thankful that he said it, even though it's really hard to be the only voice when everyone else is okay. I realized that, but it really helps us to get on the next level with the song.
And yes, it was really right choice, and we finally made this thing really great.
And it also was just a mind-blowing experience working with Japanese guys. We had Hisashi, who is a koto player, and he was also producing all this Japanese stuff with Sekohati and with shamisen, with two other guys. He was explaining them the deed, and it was amazing, really. I'm a big fan of this Japanese traditional instruments. So when I heard them live, it was just dream come true.
Yeah, really interesting experience with all these great instruments. Yeah.
All right, and then we come to the final song, Crew, which is really a masterpiece, a great way to end this thing. You talk about the love for Ukraine, the hope that they, stop the war, hopefully,
Mm.
and allow this country to exist and more importantly, at this point, rebuild. I mean, they've gone through, I think, 2 or 3 winters of, and I remember old film reels where Ukraine is one of the coldest places in the area, and for these people to have survived all that, um, let them be and let them rebuild, and hopefully Europe will help with that process. But you use 3 different languages, which was again fantastic. You bring all these different countries together that are helping Ukraine, and just tell us. I don't want to steal the whole thing. Tell us how important that song was to you, and how important it was to have on this album.
To be honest, when the war started, we were completely like, devastated, heartbroken, and we are musicians. We can do little things, and the only thing that really helps us is art. So we talked about it, and we decided that we want to have something beautiful out of it. We wanted to express our support, and we wanted to also find some I don't know how to put it, some better place for us mentally. And we talked to other people who also wanted to jump on this project. We had a guy from Belarus who did the Belarusian lyrics, and I think it was
Mm.
also healing for him. We had other like Polish lyrics author who was also shaken by these events, and she was happy to join. We had a Ukrainian singer and we had Ukrainian bandura player. They both agreed to join, and we even had we released it as a single. So we had an artwork, and we had a girl who made an art for that, and she also was very into this because the art helped her keep her mind a bit of terrible things. So that's how we had this idea. But also, when I moved to Poland from Belarus, I started to notice how many linguistic similarities we have in languages in Polish and Belarusian. And there are many Ukrainian people here, and with war, of course, it was more and more of them. And I hear Ukrainian language a lot, and I never had problem with understanding it. So I was fascinated about this proximity of 3 languages, and all those people that I mentioned could comprehend each other. We were speaking different languages, but we could understand.
Mhm.
Not like every word, but like 95% of it. And I thought that that's beautiful, and I want to do a song in 3 languages instead of one, to also show that as people we are so close to each other. So the song is called Krew. It's blood in Polish. It sounds very similar in Belarusian. It's Krew. But we picked
Crow.
the crow, yes. We picked this Latin spelling, so it will be easier for people who don't read Cyrillic
See,
letters.
now, a lot of people on the West, here in the West, would think that you guys all conversed in Russian, because
Yes, we have already faced this, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But the funny thing is that Russian-speaking people would not understand the song because they don't understand those languages.
Hmm.
beauty.
Oh, well, except some words, probably.
Yes.
Because I really have a friend here in Georgia. He's Ukrainian, and I'm Belarusian, and I'm speaking with him in Belarusian, and he is speaking Ukrainian, and we wonderfully understand each other's. And I don't know any Russian speaking person who can understand
Wow.
uh, Belarusian, or Belarusian a little bit better, but Ukrainian and Polish, no,
No way, yeah,
no
Polish
way. Yeah.
especially now. That's to me it was a discovery because I was never looking into it deeply, but when I moved here, I saw how many words are the same in three languages, or at least have the same roots and are different in Russian. And it was like,
Mm,
wow, I never thought about it this way.
yes.
Excellent. Go ahead. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that song?
I would just say that the blood, as an idea of the song, is about blood that is being shed at the moment in the war.
Yeah.
It is the blood that we have, like common, like being so close to each other. It's also about generational trauma that happens because of this war, because the consequences will be for many, many years that will come. So that's the whole idea that unites those three pieces of lyrics in Belarusian, Polish, and Ukrainian.
She's very eloquent in the way she talks too. Very articulate. That's the other word I was looking for. Um, the Exorcism, the piano version. I'm a piano lover. I don't play piano,
Mhm.
but thank you for including that. Is that going to be on every album, or is that just for reviewers, or if you buy the more expensive version of the album, or is that on every one of them?
It's on everyone, yes.
Oh,
We
good.
decided to do it as a tradition because for the first album, we also had acoustic version for one of the main songs. And I'm a fan of taking some song and doing an acoustic version to see how it changes, how you can highlight different emotions in it. And I really love when other bands do it. So I think we will proceed to do this further on.
Sergey?
I think I have nothing to say here because that's that's all that could be said about this song,
I can
probably.
only say that we did this song together with Maria when we were anxiously waiting for Sergey to finish the mixing of the album, and we just wanted to do something. So it was kind of also a
And
distraction for us because we were very anxious.
I can say the result was really uh,
Superb.
pleasure for ears.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I
it
really
was.
love this version, both the piano, the way which Anastasia sing this song, everything is great. Really, re- the beauty in itself. I don't know how to say it correctly, but I
Well,
hope you
you did.
understand.
You just said it right there. All
And I
right.
enjoyed recording it actually. It was really nice.
All right. Now let's talk about hopefully, and we talked a little bit before we get on here, about touring and how difficult that is. But if you did do your own tour, or if you had the ability, hopefully you'll play this whole album from beginning to end. I know and the hard part is you won't have all these people with you because they're from all over the world. But people can pre-record and things like that. But is there a vision for that? I know that may not be possible now with all the obstacles, but you must have been thinking about that and saying one of these days we're going to play this whole album live. Um,
Yes, of course we did. And we actually talked with some people from guest musicians who are in Europe. And we have their yes, in case if our touring schedules will be more or less matching. So they would like to be on stage with us. And that would be the dream scenario, actually.
It would be a dream come true.
Yes, yes. So I would still hope that it could happen. Talking about tours, what we are working on right now is basically things that would be closer to Poland. So most likely it will be Poland and Czech Republic. This is what we're talking about right now, and we won't most likely play the whole album because it's really long. We are looking more into like 40 minutes show, and we'll have to combine some things from the previous album with this one. But we have a plan for this as well. So That's the main thing that we need to figure out right now, and main priority, I would say, for this year. But I'm really, really hoping this will work out.
All right, and mostly festivals, or will you do your own tour?
I would not say no to either of the options. We would stick with the whatever will be possible due to like logistic questions and what would make sense, because obviously it would not make sense to have a single show, considering the travel costs for especially for the guys from Belarus. So if we met, it will be at least 3 shows, I think. But in what format, it will depend on the timing, and the timing depends on the documents and all these logistical questions. So it's kind of overwhelming for me right now, but we're trying to get there.
Do you think so far you haven't heard from like Western, like England, Germany, Western countries as far as coming over to do shows, festivals? You haven't had any offers yet, or
From the UK, I don't think we had, but even if we had, it would be really, really difficult because with me and Maria, and
passport? Yeah.
I hope that with Sergey as well, we would not need any visas for European tours, but UK will require extra work.
Okay.
Germany, I don't think specifically we were contacted with by anyone from Germany. But we have a guy from the booking agency who is suggesting different stuff to us from time to time when it's available, but I don't remember Germany specifically on the list.
Or Finland,
It
Sweden,
probably it was.
or Italy.
I'll need to look into this, but at least for now, it's not on our like
Radar. Yeah.
short-term
Mm.
radar. Yeah, I would say like this because
Well,
it would
I
be really
really
hard.
hope so. I think people need to hear this album. Not just me. I mean, not just listeners, but people in the industry need to take a dive in this. Hopefully, they watch this video because you've really described how the work and effort you put into it. And hopefully they'll, like me, see it and say, my God, I got to get these guys on stage. This is what we've been looking for. Look at how much they put into this. Look at the development of the songs, the beauty of the songs. Yeah, we need to get these guys on stage. So I hope that if maybe not this year, maybe next year, those opportunities will be open to you. But I'm just surprised that you haven't had people scrambling at your door saying, I want them on stage," because the music is just the music talks for itself. I mean, you don't no one I don't have to push it. You don't have to push it. It's just incredible.
Thank you. And I would add that it would be just an overwhelming feeling to see it live actually on stage,
Yes.
especially when we are all together finally. So I'm very
Mhm.
looking forward into this. I really hope it can work out this year.
Same here.
All right. And okay, last thing is last question from me. Um, and I know bands don't sit still, and I can tell the two of you absolutely don't sit still. Are you, and you've kind of talked about some songs that you might include on a next album. Are you working on the next album?
Yes, yes, we are always working on new music. Of course, now promoting Pearl Hunting is number 1 priority, at least for me. But when we were finishing, I already had this fake idea of finally doing some songs. Maybe the whole album will be in a format of EP. It will depend. Inspired by this book series when we took our band name from. So it has
Oh,
a lot of cool stuff like necromancy, vampires, shapeshifters, this kind of things, some mythological creatures from different parts of the world, but mostly from America and Europe. So a lot of things to look into. I have a couple of the concepts that probably excite me a bit more than the others, and I have some drafts for melodies and just need to put it all together and show to Sergey finally. But as I said, it's a bit less priority because we also want to do some music videos for pearl hunting with this
Please.
fantastic Italian guys, and these and concerts, of course, will be number one.
What would be the next? Because now you definitely piqued my interest. What would be the next song you'd want to put together a video for?
We were thinking either Bergamo or Willow because
I
we
thought
will
so.
have ideas for both of them, like that could be used for visual thing.
And well, definitely when you get those, please, send me the YouTube links. I can
Of
add them
course.
to this interview and also to the review, and I just want to see them.
Of course. Thank you.
If it's anything like that, the exorcism, I mean, if you watch that, you'll say, "Oh my God!" Like I said, this must have cost them a fortune, but you picked the right people to work with, and that's great. Okay. Anything else you guys want to add that I haven't talked about, or maybe I missed? Um, open questions, whatever you want to talk about.
I think we touched on everything album related. I just wanted to
Mhm.
once again thank you for this interview and for your support and the review that you gave us. It was such a pleasure to read this. Every album
I
and a
agree.
song that we do is like a child to us. So when we read this stuff, it really gets into us, and it gave us a very good mood for the whole day when we read it, and we were very happy that it resonated with you because we think it's important for people to relate to our music, so we just don't do it for ourselves, and when we
Mhm.
hear that it does, it's so satisfying, really. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Did you want to add anything else, Sergey? Or
I think everything was said already. I think the interview was great. Thank you so much for it. It was really a great pleasure to talk with you.
it's been wonderful talking with you, both of you, just to um, reach out to a different part of the world, which is going through a
Uh,
lot of difficult strains. And now we are in that same kind of situation ourselves. Everyone thought America was, on top. No need to worry. And then, and then things changed really quick. So let's all hang together and stay positive, and hopefully we'll all get through this. And like I say, hopefully you guys will get a chance to not only come to Europe, but we'd love to have you in the United States. I would love to go see one of your shows, and especially the one where you do this whole album. I can't wait for you to be able to pull this whole thing together and have this album from beginning to end. Because and if you can get some of those other people to visit during that, that would be I'm sure you would love that too.
Thank you so much. I wanted to add that nevertheless, the situation like in the world is terrifying. The politics come and go, and
Yeah,
art and music stays. So we try to focus on that.
perfect. That's the best way to end this. Thank you both, Sergey and Anastasia, for a wonderful conversation. Please, people, after listening to this, how can you not run out and want to buy this album? It is great people, beautiful music, and just listen to the world in this album. And please get out there and at least give them a chance. And and that's it. I'll go ahead and turn off the recording. Any other comments or anything?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.